Hi, everyone. I'm AJ Park, and I have a really fun opportunity today. We have set up a remote interview with author Katie Zaber. We've been having so much fun. We don't want to tell you all the details because we've found out that we share a feature that technology just does not really love each of us. And so it's a miracle that we actually got to talk today and that we actually got to talk about our books. And so that's what we're here for. So I was super excited. You've got a book coming out tomorrow, but do you want to tell us about your existing books first before we go into the new one?
Sure. I have an existing series. I just want to say hi first.
Yes,
Hi
say
to
hi
everyone.
first. Introduce yourself.
Hi. Thank you for having me. So happy that we were able to get the technology to work right now.
That it went totally smoothly, just so everybody knows that that's our story. We're sticking to it. We didn't try 3 or 4 times or anything like that.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I do have a new book coming out tomorrow from a new series, but actually I do have another series that's been out since last year. It's part of my Dahlia series. The first book in that is called Ashes and Blood. I have that here.
So we were talking about this before. I really love that cover. I love the color. I like the lighting of it. I like the font. And so it just is a great cover. So tell us a little bit about what's inside. Tell us a little more about the book.
This one is about a girl named Megan, or a young woman named Megan, who her and her friends are going hiking, and then the path just starts changing around them, and they don't know what's happening, and they start seeing the tree that you see in the cover. Then they realize they're in a different world.
I love it.
And then it goes from there.
We're fantasy writers. You've somehow, however you get there, you've got to get to the different world, whether it's the wardrobe or whatever, the magic tree. We love it.
And yeah, so they see the tree, the world changes around them, morphs, and then they end outside of this town in the middle of this very rural area. They realize that there's no electric, no water, no running, nothing.
No cell phones.
Nothing, no electricity, nothing. They are now back in kind of like a frontier like town.
Okay.
So they had to figure out how to survive. While they're there, they're also trying to find out how to get home.
Of course, because that's the major thing. You got to make this great mythical journey. And so anyway, that sounds super.
Yeah,
we have to go ahead. Sorry.
And also, like, why are they there? How do they really get there? Was it just a tree? They try to go back into the woods. They try to find the tree. They can't find it.
Oh, it's like the portal tree.
That's what they're thinking.
Oh, she's not willing to reveal too much. We've got to. We'll have to put that on the to be read list for sure. For sure. And so is that part of a series then as well? So is there a second book?
There is a second book. The second book came out last fall. That one is Below Dark Waters.
So they didn't get home in the first book?
And they end up on the beach in the coastal area in this one. As you can see, that's kind of wreaking havoc with the water and flooding, and there is a hand in the middle of that. There is something going underwater.
That's awesome. Book. I really like those covers. Both of them are really great. So,
thank you.
Well, tell us. So, how long have you been writing?
Writing and legit writing, I would say about 4 years.
Writing or legit writing? Can't we count our writing before it was legit writing? That was maybe our practice writing stage. Mine lasted about 30 years. You don't need to know that though, but
yeah, a little bit here and there, but then I got injured at work where I used to work, and then I got laid up, and then I was in between surgeries and kind of just bored with TV.
So you had maybe a not quite so fun path into this career, right?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
That's an interesting story though. So you're like, I'm bored of TV. I need some new stories.
Yeah, and I was always creative in high school and everything. I was kind of always reading books and always into creativeness. So I kind of just started playing around with a story. And the next thing I knew, I had written like 3 different drafts of it. And then I kept writing it over. And then it was a hobby. I was just doing it for fun. And then it got to a time where, okay, I'm healed up. I could go back to work, or I could start a new career.
So do you write full-time, or is it still part-time?
So I started writing full-time. I went back to a part-time job that I found, but it's fun. It's a fun part-time job. I work at a memorabilia store kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds
anything
fun.
Signed by anyone. So it's a fun job, and it gives me kind of inspiration in between, but a little part-time.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's easy to, it's a lot less stress to have a part-time job and until we're rich and famous, right?
Yeah, it
Or more
helps.
famous.
It helps, and then it also keeps me on a good schedule because I found out when I was really writing, my schedule was just all over the place. I didn't know what time of hour or day it was or anything. So having to go out of the house 3 days a week and clock in keeps me on like a semi-normal schedule.
That's a good point. I think a lot of writers struggle with discipline. I think if we're creative people, we struggle with maybe consistency and schedules and that kind of thing. I know I do sometimes. So
Yeah, I had to set alarms. I had to set timers to remind myself to do stuff because I'm like, oh wait, I thought it was what? I've been writing for 3 hours. What? What happened? I thought it was like
it's like
15
a time
minutes.
warp. It's a time warp. You just sit down to work on it and you look up and you see the red tree and all of a sudden you're in a different world, right?
Exactly. You just end up
Perfect.
somewhere else.
Perfect. So tell us about the book that's coming out, and it's coming out tomorrow, right?
Yes, DNA, Demons and Angels comes out tomorrow. It's about a book named Evie who mysteriously ends up getting pregnant.
Okay. Just like out of the blue, like I don't remember this incident kind of a thing.
Doesn't remember the incident, and her husband had a vasectomy.
Ooh. So hopefully the baby looks just like him, right?
Oh yeah.
Or I'm guessing you're going to
So,
tell us it wasn't his, right?
yeah, that baby is not his, but
Wow.
she starts digging into where did this child come from, and she just keeps growing. It starts at 5 weeks. The book ends at birth. And
So you don't really
throughout it,
tell us what happens, did you? Oh, I bet that's because she's got a few more books planned. So you want to just keep everybody
yeah.
interested. So I'm guessing
The
this is a
second book,
really
there's a lot of
really important
information
kid.
on that. Oop.
I guess it's a really important kid when it's born, right?
Yes.
So you're basically just kind of going through like the pregnancy in this first book.
She's going through this pregnancy. Some weird things keep happening to her. She keeps getting these headaches, and then her vision starts to blur, and she'll start seeing some odd things. And if she doesn't keep eating, the headaches won't go away. And just a couple other weird symptoms with her pregnancy that's not normal.
Hmm.
Some
Aside from the fact that it's
possessions.
not his,
Yeah.
that's really odd for a pregnancy, right?
Yeah, and it ends up horribly in a heartbreaking divorce between the two of them, actually. So that does end, but also start a new chapter for her life entirely.
I can understand him being a little upset, right?
Yeah, especially when you get two DNA tests and they are not in your name.
Aha. So we have to. Are you working on the second book, or have you already got?
I
Tell
am
us where
working on the
you're
second
at with
book.
that.
I've been writing a bunch of stuff for the second book, but I actually got to jump back into the Dahlia series and get the third book out on that one. I'm hoping that third book comes out in the spring is the goal. Probably
Nice.
summer.
I know it's hard. Life interferes with trying to, keep on a writing schedule.
Yeah. And then the next DNA book, I'm hoping in the next fall. And so coming forward, I'm hoping 2 books a year coming out, one in spring, one in fall coming
And
forward.
you're going to just kind of alternate series, and
Exactly. That way it
that's
still
going to be
keeps fresh.
cool.
I'm not stuck. Because then I feel sometimes I get stuck and I'm like in a writer's block when I'm in the same mindset for a little too long.
I definitely like to alternate projects too. So if you work on something and then maybe set it aside and then come back in a couple of months with fresh eyes and be like, oh, I didn't even remember I wrote that.
And then it gives you new ideas. And then you're like, oh,
Right.
fresh. It just helps so much with it can really help inspire, like, oh wait, I was writing this in this book and that could really actually work about better here in this one. That doesn't fit that other character. I'm in this other person's mind right now.
So
I switch back and forth so much that sometimes that will happen. I'm like, no, this doesn't fit.
that's perfect. So you like to alternate. I definitely do too.
Mhm.
I think that's a good plan for creative work, just because writing a book, it's just so big that you can't keep it all in your brain at the same time, and so it's a lot of work. And I'm sure you know that too. Yeah. Sure, everyone who's reading the book, just be aware it's a lot of work to write a book.
notebooks and notes on everything, post-it notes, stick-it notes, just
Yep.
everything. Everything.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, this has been awesome to have a chance to chat, and we're really excited to see your new book. We got to find out, of course, we got to find out who the baby daddy is, of course. That's important. And find out what happens next. Oh, and what happened with the red tree people. They're still hanging out there. So we got to go back and read those too. So thanks for taking the time to talk to us. You've already done great things with your writing, and we're excited to see what you do next. And we're excited to see these new books come out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and good luck tomorrow, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.